Cheryl and I own a farm in Buckingham, Iowa, where we mostly grow corn. This happened in August of 2018, on a slightly rainy evening. Cheryl and I have lived on farms our entire lives. It's really the only lifestyle we know. Farm life in Iowa means wide open spaces and hardly any people. Our nearest neighbors, George and Kenny, each lived about half a mile away in opposite directions. Like us, they were farmers, and with so few people around, it was easy to become close friends. We often spent time with George and Kenny and their wives, having dinners or drinks at each other's homes. On this particular Saturday night, George and his wife came over for a few drinks. We all got pretty tipsy while playing board games, and they left around 11 p.m. Luckily, their drive home is just a short, straight road, barely half a minute. After they left, Cheryl and I kept sipping some wine while watching one of our favorite movies. We were tired and definitely feeling the alcohol, most likely about to fall asleep together on the couch, when we suddenly heard a knock at the front door. Getting visitors this late at night was extremely unusual. In fact, it had never happened before. Along with the knocking, we thought we heard someone speaking faintly. I turned down the volume of the TV, and after a pause of about 20 seconds, the knocking returned, this time with a muffled voice saying, "We need help." I was about to get up, but Cheryl grabbed my arm and shook her head nervously. I whispered that I just wanted to ask who it was. She told me not to let them know we were home, but honestly, whoever it was probably already knew. I stepped to the door and called out, "Who is it?" A man's voice answered, "Oh, thank God. Can you open up? We're lost." I asked, "Who's we?" And the voice replied, "My wife and I." So I asked him to have his wife speak. There was silence for a few seconds. I repeated myself, and the same voice said, "Yeah, but she's not next to me right now." At that moment, red flags went off in my head. Something about the voice sounded off, like a man trying to raise his pitch. I actually chuckled and asked, "George, is that you?" George is a prankster, and being drunk, it wouldn't have been shocking for him to pull a stunt like this. The voice then responded, "Yeah," but in a deeper tone. For a second, I felt relieved, thinking it was him, but I still didn't want to open the door without being sure. Out here, strangers knocking in the middle of the night, claiming they're lost, it just doesn't happen. It's immediately suspicious. So I said through the door, "Prove it. What's your wife's name?" An unfamiliar voice replied, "That's a trick question." My smile vanished instantly. I grabbed my phone and started calling George, while Cheryl whispered that we should just call the police. After a few rings, George answered, and I quickly asked if he was at our door. He said no, confused, so I told him someone was outside pretending to be him. He said he'd drive over right away. As we waited, the knocks came again. I shouted that I had a shotgun and would use it if they didn't leave. The voice replied, "We just need to use your phone, that's all." Cheryl dialed 911, but out here it takes a long time for any officer to show up. Then we heard multiple footsteps moving around the deck that wraps around our house. Some of them stopped right outside one of our windows, and we heard someone fiddling with it, trying to force it open. Cheryl screamed into the phone, "Leave us alone." I joined in, yelling at the top of my lungs that I'd shoot them if they didn't leave. It finally hit me to run upstairs and grab the shotgun from our closet. Just seconds later, there was more banging on the door, but then I recognized George's actual voice, shouting for me to open up. I let him inside, and he had brought his own shotgun too. He explained he hadn't seen anyone as he pulled into the driveway. George stayed with us until the police eventually arrived and walked the property with us, though they didn't find anyone. The officer advised us to install cameras on both the front and back of the house, which we immediately did. Looking back, it still chills me to think that the only thing standing between us and whoever was outside that night was just a wooden door.